History of Windows. Windows 1.0. Windows 1.0 was the first Windows by Microsoft. Windows 1.0 is a graphical operating environment designed for personal computers. It was released on November 6, 1985. It runs as a graphical 16-bit multitasking shell on top of MS-DOS installation, allowing for the usage of MS-DOS software and graphical programs designed for Windows. Windows 1.0 support ended on December 31, 2001. Windows 2.0. Windows 2.0 is 16-bit operation system from Microsoft. Windows 2.0, 2.01, and 2.03 are shells for the MS-DOS system, providing a graphical user interface for improved interaction over the command line interface of DOS. Windows 3.0. Windows 3.0 was developed by David Weiss and Murray Sargent. Windows 3.0 improved protected mode for Windows applications to allow reliable multitasking. In previous versions of Windows 2.XX for 386 processors, protected memory only supported DOS applications. So, it added Windows versions of Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Windows 3.1. Windows 3.1 is a series of 16-bit GUI operating environments for MS-DOS developed by Microsoft for use on personal computers. Windows 3.1 was a successor of Windows 3.0. Windows 3.1 subsequent versions were released between 1992 and 1994 until the release of its successor, Windows 95. Windows 3.1 support ended on December 31, 2001. Windows 3.1 OEM licensing for workgroups on embedded ended on November 1, 2008. Windows 95. Windows 95 is a consumer-oriented graphical user interface-based operating system built on top of MS-DOS. It was released on August 24, 1995 by Microsoft as part of its Windows 9X family of operating systems, and was a significant progression from the company's previous Windows products. During development, it was referred to as Windows 4.0, Windows 4.00, or by the internal codename Chicago. Windows 95 integrated Microsoft's formerly separate MS-DOS and Windows products. It featured significant improvements over its predecessor, Windows 3.1, most notably in its graphical user interface, GUI, and relatively simplified plug-and-play features. There were also major changes made at lower levels of the operating system, such as moving from a mainly 16-bit architecture to a preemptively multitasked 32-bit architecture. In the marketplace, Windows 95 was a major success, and within a year or two of its release had become the most successful operating system ever produced. It also had the effect of driving other major players, including OS/2, out of business, something which would later be used in court against Microsoft. Some 3 years after its introduction, Windows 95 was succeeded by Windows 98. Windows 98. 1. Windows 98, codenamed Memphis, is a graphical operating system by Microsoft. 2. It is the second major release in the Windows 9X line of operating systems. It was released to manufacturing on May 15, 1998 and to retail on June 25, 1998. 3. Windows 98 is the successor to Windows 95. Like its predecessors, it is a hybrid 16-bit/32-bit monolithic product with an MS-DOS-based boot stage. 4. Windows 98 was succeeded by Windows 98 Second Edition on May 5, 1999, then by Windows Me on September 14, 2000. 5. Microsoft support for Windows 98 ended on July 11, 2006. As of September 2011, Windows Update v4 has been shut down, resulting in an endless loop of trying to access the site that has affected all versions of the Windows 9X family. 6. Windows 98 includes Internet Explorer 4.01. Besides Internet Explorer, many other Internet companion applications are included, such as Outlook Express, Windows Address Book, Front Page Express, Microsoft Chat, Personal Web Server, and a web publishing wizard, NetMeeting and NetShow Player, in the original release of Windows 98, which was replaced by Windows Media Player 6.2 in Windows 98 Second Edition. 7. The Windows 98 shell includes all of the enhancements from Windows Desktop Update and Internet Explorer for component, such as the Quick Launch toolbar, desk bands, active desktop, channels, ability to minimize foreground windows by clicking their button on the taskbar, single-click launching, back and forward navigation buttons, favorites, an address bar in Windows Explorer, image thumbnails, folder info tips and web view in folders, and folder customization through HTML-based templates. 8. Windows 98 also integrates shell enhancements, themes and other features from Microsoft Plus for Windows 95 such as Drive Space 3, Compression Agent, Dial-Up Networking Server, Dial-Up Scripting Tool and Task Scheduler. 3D Pinball is included on the CD-ROM but not installed by default. Windows 98 had its own separately purchasable Plus pack called Plus 98. 9. Title bars of windows and dialog boxes support two color gradients. Windows 98 menus and tooltips support slide animation. 10. Windows Explorer in Windows 98, like Windows 95, converts all uppercase file names to sentence case for readability purposes. However, it also provides an option to allow all uppercase names to display them in their original case. 11. Windows Explorer includes support for compressed CAB files. 12. The Quick Residential and Telephony Location Manager Windows 95 Power Toys are integrated. Windows Millennium Edition. 1. Windows ME is a graphical operating system released on September 14, 2000 by Microsoft, and was the last operating system released in the Windows 9X series. 2. Windows ME is the successor to Windows 98 and was targeted specifically at home PC users. 3. Windows ME included Internet Explorer 5.5, Windows Media Player 7, and the new Windows Movie Maker software, which provided basic video editing and was designed to be easy to use for home users. 4. Microsoft also updated the graphical user interface, shell features, and Windows Explorer in Windows ME with some of those first introduced in Windows 2000, which had been released as a business-oriented operating system 7 months earlier. 5. Windows ME could be upgraded to Internet Explorer 6 SP1, but not to SP2, SV1, or Internet Explorer 7, Outlook Express 6 SP1 and Windows Media Player 9 series. 6. Microsoft .NET Framework up to and including version 2.0 is supported. However, versions 2.0 SP1, 3.x, and greater are not. 7. Office XP was the last version of Microsoft Office to be compatible with Windows ME. 8. Windows ME is a continuation of the Windows 9X model, but with restricted access to Real Mode DOS in order to speed up system boot time. 9. This was one of the most unpopular changes in Windows ME, because applications that needed Real Mode DOS to run, such as older disk utilities, did not run under Windows ME, although the system could be booted into Real Mode DOS using a bootable Windows ME floppy disk. 10. Windows ME received criticism for its various bugs and glitches. Compared with other releases of Windows, Windows ME had a short shelf life of just over a year. It was soon replaced by Windows XP, which launched on October 25, 2001. 11. Extended support for ME ended on July 11, 2006. As of September 2011, the Windows Update v4 servers were shut down, affecting all versions of the Windows 9X family by causing update attempts to be stuck in an endless loop. 12. The Microsoft Update catalog only retains legacy updates for Windows 2000 and subsequent NT-based software. Windows 2000. Windows 2000, also known as Windows NT 5.0, is a line of operating systems produced by Microsoft for use on personal computers, business desktops, laptops, and servers. 2. Windows 2000 was released to manufacturing on December 15, 1999, and launched to retail on February 17, 2000. 3. IT is the successor to Windows NT 4.0, and is the final release of Microsoft Windows to display the Windows NT designation. 4. Windows ME was released 7 months after Windows 2000, serving as a home counterpart to it. 5. Windows 2000 was succeeded by Windows XP for desktop systems in October 2001 and Windows Server 2003 for servers in April 2003. 6. As of September 2011, Windows Update v4 has been shut down, resulting in endless loop of trying to access the site. This has affected all versions of the Windows 9X family and Windows 2000 up to Service Pack 3. 7. Windows 2000 Service Pack 4 is now not compatible with Windows Update v6 without the latest Windows Update agent. 8.4 editions of Windows 2000 were released, listed here in increasing ranking: Professional, Server, Advanced Server, and Data Center Server. Additionally, Microsoft sold Windows Advanced Server 2000 Limited Edition and Windows Data Center Server 2000 Limited Edition, which ran on 64-bit Intel Itanium microprocessors, and they were released in 2001. 9. While each edition of Windows 2000 was targeted at a different market, they shared a core set of features, including many system utilities such as the Microsoft Management Console and standard system administration applications. 10. Support for people with disabilities has been improved over Windows NT 4.0 with a number of new assistive technologies, and Microsoft increased support for different languages and locale information. 11. All versions of the operating system support the Windows NT file system, NTFS 3.0, the encrypting file system, as well as basic and dynamic disk storage. The Windows 2000 Server family has additional features, including the ability to provide Active Directory services, a hierarchical framework of resources, distributed file system, a file system that supports sharing of files, and fault-redundant storage volumes. 12. Windows 2000 can be installed through either a manual or unattended installation. 13. Unattended installations rely on the use of answer files to fill in installation information, and can be performed through a bootable CD using Microsoft Systems Management Server by the System Preparation tool. 14. Microsoft marketed Windows 2000 as the most secure Windows version ever at the time. However, it became the target of a number of high-profile virus attacks such as Code Red and Nimda. 15. Windows 2000 is a continuation of the Microsoft Windows NT family of operating systems, replacing Windows NT 4.0. Beta 1 of NT 5.0 was released in September 1997, followed by Beta 2 in August 1998. On October 27, 1998, Microsoft announced that the name of the final version of the operating system would be Windows 2000, a name which referred to its projected release date. 16. Windows NT 5.0 Beta 3 was released in January 1999. Windows 2000 Service Pack 1 was codenamed Asteroid and Windows 2000 64-bit was codenamed Janus. 17. During development, there was a build for the alpha which was abandoned sometime after RC1 after Compaq announced they had dropped support for Windows NT on alpha. From here, Microsoft issued 3 release candidates between July and November 1999, and finally released the operating system to partners on December 12, 1999. The public could buy the full version of Windows 2000 on February 17, 2000. 3 days before this event, which Microsoft advertised as a standard in reliability, a leaked memo from Microsoft reported on by Mary Jo Foley revealed that Windows 2000 had over 63,000 potential known defects. After Foley's article was published, Microsoft blacklisted her for a considerable time. However, Abraham Silberschatz et al. Claim in their computer science textbook that Windows 2000 was the most reliable, stable operating system Microsoft had ever shipped to that point. 18. Much of this reliability came from maturity in the source code, extensive stress testing of the system, and automatic detection of many serious errors in drivers. 19. Windows 2000 was first planned to replace both Windows 98 and Windows NT 4.0. However, that changed later. Instead, an updated version of Windows 98 called Windows 98 2nd Edition was released in 1999 and Windows ME was released in late 2000. While Windows 2000 was designed for businesses, Windows ME was designed for home use. Close to the release of Windows 2000 Service Pack 1, Microsoft released Windows 2000 Data Center Server, targeted at large-scale computing systems with support for 32 processors, on September 29, 2000. 20. On or shortly before February 12, 2004, portions of the Microsoft Windows 2000 and Windows NT 4.0 source code were illegally made available on the Internet. 21. The source of the leak remains unannounced. Microsoft issued the following statement. Microsoft source code is both copyrighted and protected as a trade secret. As such, it is illegal to post it, make it available to others, download it, or use it. Despite the warnings, the archive containing the leaked code spread widely on the file-sharing networks. On February 16, 2004, an exploit allegedly discovered by an individual studying the leaked source code for certain versions of Microsoft Internet Explorer was reported. Windows Server 2000. Windows 2000 Server was released on February 17, 2000 to replace Windows NT 4.0, and Windows 2000 offers many system-wide improvements over its predecessor. 2.it provides application development services as well as connectivity, file and storage management enhancements, in addition to reliability, scalability, security, systems management, and web integration improvements. 3. The next Windows iteration, Windows Server 2003, is slated for April 2003. This version is expected to be a significant but incremental upgrade compared with the huge revamp that took place in the upgrade from Windows NT to Windows 2000. 4. Windows 2000 Server is used for workgroup file, print, and communication servers. 5. Among Windows 2000 Server's application services are Component Object Model Plus, COM Plus, message and transaction queuing, and support for extensible markup language, XML. Windows Server 2000.
If you liked the video, please subscribe and like. Bye.